Welcome to the Pursuit of Excellence, your go-to channel for wellness, happiness and success. I am Arun Singh Rathore, a corporate leadership facilitator with nearly 2 decades of experience. Having trained and coached thousands of professionals achieve peak performance without compromising their physical and mental vitality. On this channel, we focus on science-based protocols to elevate your efficiency, embrace excellence over perfection, and grow professionally while staying grounded in well-being. Because striving for excellence isn't just empowering, it's deeply human. If you are ready to thrive in your life, you have come to the right place.
Welcome to the 6th and final episode of this series on sleep. And the topic for today's episode is learning, memory and creativity. Now one might wonder कि हमने ये टॉपिक सबसे लास्ट में क्यों किया है, बिकॉज एसेंशियली ये टॉपिक अभी तक के सभी टॉपिक्स का कल्मिनेशन है. एंड टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, इट इज ऑल्सो अबाउट द अल्टीमेट गोल ऑफ ऑल लिविंग बीइंग्स ऑन अर्थ, एंड दैट इज ग्रोथ. And growth cannot happen without memory and learning. So that is why we will use all the knowledge that we have shared till date, and we will use that and create the final outcome of this whole series through this one episode. Do you know that 40% of your learning can be impaired by just disrupting one night's of REM sleep. This is the criticality of a single night's restorative sleep, and that is why for learning and memory, sleep is very critical. If you look at the function of sleep in learning and memory, you can basically put them in 3 different buckets. The first one is, if you sleep well before learning something, your brain is now more capable of gaining knowledge. The second aspect of it is that if you sleep well after learning something, now that learning can be cemented and almost kind of future proofed. And the third part is that if you sleep well in general while you are learning things, you will be able to convert that knowledge into wisdom. So now you don't just know something, you know how to use it. And this is the holy grail of human growth. Many times when people talk to me, and especially those who are going through midlife crisis, and they ask me that, Arun, if I want to be happy, what should I do? Because I have achieved everything that I wanted to. The simple answer is growth. It doesn't matter what all material wealth you have. Growth is something that will always give you happiness. And I think ultimately whatever we do, we are doing it to be happy. And this is where the learning, memory and creativity aspect of sleep come in very, very strongly. That you don't just learn things, you also remember things and you apply them when you sleep properly. Okay. Now we all have hippocampus on the right and left side of our brain. They are almost like cigar-like structures, and they kind of act like the USB port. Okay. So you have this USB pen drive, you upload things into it. Okay. When you sleep, that pen drive now gets attached to your cortex, which is like the hard disk of your system. So from the hippocampus, the knowledge goes into your cortex, and now the hippocampus is completely cleared after another night's sleep, and you are again ready to gain more knowledge. Okay, to receive that knowledge. And this cycle needs to continue, because growth will only happen if you are able to learn new things, if you are open to new experiences, and if you are able to use those takeaways from those experiences in your future life. That is the whole growth process is all about. So when we talk about learning and memory, 40% of it depends on how well you sleep. In fact, there have been various experiments that have proven that if you sleep well before learning something, you grasp it well. If you sleep well after learning something, you are able to cement it better and then reproduce it. Okay, so learning, storing, recollecting, all these 3 things are very profoundly affected by how well you sleep. So this is the relationship between learning and memory. Now we come to the creativity aspect of it. We have already understood in our dream episode that through dreams we solve problems. Through dreams we create solutions. That means REM sleep has something very magical about it, that we are able to access that kind of a knowledge and that kind of almost kind of a database that allows us to find solutions to problems that we have never encountered before. It allows us to create knowledge that humanity has never experienced before. And I think that is the beauty of sleep, that you don't just gain knowledge and you don't just recollect your memory, you create knowledge. All right, and this is where through various experiments we have understood that creativity has its roots in REM sleep. Okay, throughout these episodes we have been consistently talking about the sleep protocol, what all things you are supposed to do throughout the day, what all winding down protocols you can follow just before you are going to sleep. This is the point where we will also talk about your waking up protocol, which is almost as important as your winding down protocol. So usually when you wake up in the morning, usually it's through an alarm. As soon as you turn off your alarm, now in most cases people don't even turn off their internet, but in many cases when they turn off their internet in the morning, as soon as the alarm goes off, the first thing they do is that they turn on the internet, and then immediately they want to catch up on all the social media notification, all the messages in their chat messenger boxes, and it's almost kind of a tsunami of stimulus that your brain is getting immediately. And this is something which is hampering our creativity, because through the night there are so many magical things that have unfolded inside your brain, and in the morning when you can actually try to recollect a few things out of them, you are already bombarded by this notifications and so many messages, and you want to check them out, and there is so much of stimulus that all that subtle knowledge and important information, it just get eclipsed by all those very fancy and entertaining things that a mobile phone and social media offers us. So if you really want to get the best out of your sleep, a good idea will be to have a very slow start to the day, so that slowly, as you are getting more control over your body and your brain, you are slowly getting used to the state of wakefulness. And between that stage of sleep and complete wakefulness is a very golden period where you can actually recollect a few things that you got during your sleep. Okay, so a good idea is to have a very slow morning. As soon as you wake up, maybe stay on the bed for some time and then slowly get up, and the best thing you can do is that try to go into sunlight straight away. Alright, because your circadian rhythm is very deeply associated with sun. Yeah, so before we had electricity, our life revolved around sun. Okay, so a typical day would start with the rising sun, and when a human being would look at that rising sun, immediately the cortisol levels would come up. Okay, immediately the melatonin will go down. All right, and then as per your circadian rhythm, your core body temperature will start going up, and that is what the state of wakefulness is. All right, so a rising sun is basically giving you a message that the day has started, it's time for action. Okay, and same thing applies to the setting sun. Okay, one of the best winding down protocols is to look at a setting sun. Okay, a setting sun gives a message to your body that it's time to relax, it's time to take some rest and get ready for the next day. So the ideal waking up protocol will be, you wake up, slowly walk towards your window or your balcony and go into the sun. Okay, if you wake up early enough, you might have an opportunity to look at the sun directly. Okay, but even if it's very bright, avoid wearing a sunglass. Okay, make sure your eyes have that exposure to that light. Okay, that really helps you wake up and then you start your day. Okay, so the idea is that you slowly pace up your day and then you slowly pace down your day. Okay, again we use the same analogy of you driving your car and then parking it. Yeah, so you do all these things, you will realize that many times, especially if you have already slept over a problem, if you start your mornings very slowly, you'll realize that you will have some kind of a solution. And that is the beauty of REM sleep. So in today's episode, we learned 3 aspects: learning, memory, and creativity. And we understood how sleep is very deeply associated with these 3 things. Thank you.